The Supreme Court is all set to hear the hijab matter today after the apex court issued notice to Karnataka government on this matter. There were a batch of petitions challenging the High Court verdict, refusing to lift the ban on hijab in educational institutions. Supreme Court came down heavily on the petitioners who sought adjournment in the matter. Just to give you the background, the hijab controversy started after colleges in Udupi did not allow Muslim girls to wear hijab inside the classroom. The Muslim girls in Udupi had filed a batch of petitions in Karnataka High Court seeking the right to wear the hijab in classes. Karnataka High Court dismissed the petition. The High Court stated that wearing hijab is not part of essential religious practice in Islam and that the freedom of religion under Article 25 of the Constitution is subject to reasonable restrictions. Ananya Bhatnagar is with me on the phone line tracking that case in the apex court. Ananya, what's expected today?
Well, Arima, the case has been going on for a very long time. The chronology goes on from the Karnataka High Court, and now it's before the Supreme Court of India. Remember, 6 urgent mentionings were done for the matter to be listed. However, when finally it was listed before Justice Hemant Gupta and Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia, the petitioner sought an adjournment to this particular matter, and then the judge came down heavily on them, saying that you were the ones who wanted the matter to be heard urgently, and now you're seeking an adjournment. We won't allow you to forum shop. Basically, they had sought an adjournment of more than 6 weeks, which basically meant that Justice Dhulia was set to retire. Justice Hemant Gupta is set to retire very soon, and hence the bench would have to be changed. So the bench had, in fact, said that we will hear the matter Monday itself. We won't allow you to forum shop. And now, finally, the matter would be heard today. The central government has already told the court that there is no need for a reply to be filed into this particular case. And hence, now we can expect something from this case, a particular order coming out. We can also see that the maintainability is questioned by the central government and the Karnataka government here. Because remember that the judgment that has been passed by the Karnataka High Court was very, very detailed in its nature, and it clearly said that the education department of the Karnataka government is competent enough to issue such kind of directions, and no hijab should be allowed inside educational institutions because it is for a uniform. It's a particular uniform that is there, and there should be no religious curtailments inside educational institutions, and hence now the matter is before the Supreme Court of India. We'll have to wait and watch as to how the court reacts to it, especially seeing as to when the matter was heard last time. The bench came down very heavily on these petitioners in this particular case.
Ananya, the question before the Supreme Court, the question that the Supreme Court has to decide, is it whether hijab is part of essential practices of Islam or not?
Well, essentially, yes, and it would decide whether the judgment of the Karnataka High Court was right in its nature or not, and whether another question that the Supreme Court would be deciding is whether hijab is an essential religious practice under Article 26 of the Constitution of India or not. It would also be deciding on the question whether Karnataka government education department actually had the powers to issue such kind of a direction, banning hijab inside educational institutions. Right. So a lot of constitutional questions to be decided, though all of these are on the point of law, which have to be decided. So we'll have to wait and watch as to what Justice Hemant Gupta and Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia decide on this particular case.
Ananya, will depend on you to come back to us about what happens in the courtroom. Thank you so much for joining us with that explanation and detail.